Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Morgan, the Ryker chick, and in today's video, we're going to be going a little bit further in depth on the much discussed topic of Ryker versus Spyder. Let's get into it. Okay, you guys, so a couple months ago, I filmed a video called Ryker versus Spyder, and it was more so to just break down the very simple differences between the Ryker and the Spyder, because that's a very common question I see on all the forums. It's what people ask me, which one should I get? What are the differences? So I kind of broke down like my top 3 things that you should consider when you're looking into buying a Ryker or a Spyder. And that has been a very popular video. We've had a ton of questions, a lot of great discussion in the comments, and you guys left such great questions and comments in that video that I decided to do a part 2 to that video. So if you haven't checked that one out, I would suggest going to watch that one first and then come back here and watch this one. We're going to go a little bit further in depth on some of your questions about Ryker versus Spyder. But before we do that, I want to just ask you to please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's get into it. So I do want to start out by saying one of the comments I got on that video, just wanted to remind everybody and point out that my Ryker as I have it right now is not how it comes standard. Just if you don't know anything about a Ryker or a Spyder, just so you know, mine as it is now, I've done a lot of upgrades, a lot of modifications to it, and it does not come standard with the luggage and the storage and the seat that I have on it right now. So I just don't want to confuse anybody. Somebody made that comment and I said, yeah, that's a good thing to point out. I think most people know that, but just in case you didn't, the Ryker does come with pretty minimal storage, and that leads us into our very first question is, does the Ryker have a frunk like the Spyder? Now, frunk is front trunk, which comes together to form the word frunk. And yes, it does. It does have a frunk. The only difference is the size. It is, well, a big difference actually. So the frunk on the Ryker is only 1.85 gallons or 7 liters. So very small. I mean, certainly enough you can get wallet, phone, or any just kind of basic supplies in there, but you're not going to be holding, you know, overnight belongings, you know, storage for touring or anything like that. That's why I added the 3-piece luggage set to my Ryker. And as of now, that is the only storage available on the Ryker. So that compared to the storage capacity on the Spyder. Now I looked up the specs for the RT Limited just to see how much storage it comes standard with. And it is a whopping 47 gallons of storage. That is 177 liters. So that is pretty significant compared to the minimal storage that comes on the Ryker. So that is certainly something where the Spyder has the Ryker beat, is in the standard storage capacity. I have received several questions over the time that I've been doing these videos about the seating position and how it fits somebody who is maybe taller or larger. So I've said in other videos, but if you don't know, I am tall. I'm a tall girl myself, so I am 6 feet tall. I have a long torso, I have long legs, and one of the things that was appealing to me about the Ryker is the foot pegs and the handlebars are adjustable. So I ride with the foot pegs all the way forward, and I have the handlebars closest to me. It's a very relaxed position, but you can very easily switch and move it to any position you want, even if you want to change from a more cruising riding style to a more aggressive riding style. That is very easy to achieve on the Ryker. So I would say if you're not sure, go to your local dealership and test one and just see how you fit on it. Like I said, I don't find that I am uncomfortable on it. I have plenty of room to stretch out. I have added the floorboards and I'm looking into getting the highway pegs so I can stretch out even more. Not necessary, but it really is very, very comfortable for me. So that is not a concern for me personally. And kind of on that same topic, people have discussed the seat height between the Ryker and the Spyder. So the Ryker does sit much lower than the Spyder. So the Ryker comes in right around 24 inches as far as its seat height, whereas the RT Limited can sit all the way, it's almost at 30 inches high where the seat height is. That's a pretty significant difference. I found recently when my husband and I went on our road trip and we rented Spyders, I could not get on the Spyder without having to step on the floorboard and then swing my leg over. My Ryker, I can just flat foot, just like just go sit on the bike. I don't think there's necessarily for me a pro or a con either way. It's just something that's different. I found that I personally liked the lower seating position of the Ryker. It just kind of made me feel more one with the motorcycle, if that makes any sense. Not that I was uncomfortable on the Spyder or anything. I was very comfortable on the Spyder, like no doubt. But you do definitely feel like you're sitting up higher. Like I said, not good, not bad, just kind of personal preference. And sort of along those same lines, somebody was asking what the weight limit on the Ryker versus the Spyder and comfort level as far as having a passenger. And this is a great question. I think these are things that really make a difference for people when they're trying to decide between a Ryker and a Spyder, is whether you're going to take a passenger. Now, to be clear, you can take a passenger on either, but the Spyder is really more what's designed to have a passenger. You can certainly put a passenger seat on the Ryker. It's just going to be a tight fit, and it's probably not going to be as comfortable. So according to the latest spec sheets from Can-Am's website, the 2022 Ryker Rally Edition has a weight capacity of 412 pounds, whereas the RT Limited has a weight capacity of 494 pounds. So, and that kind of honestly shocked me. So the difference really is about 80 pounds difference. I really thought the Spyders would be able to hold more as far as their weight capacity. I do think it's more a matter of comfort on these. I think I talked about in the other video that the RT Limiteds have a very comfortable passenger seat. They have heated seat, heated grips, just all the things to make your passenger very, very comfortable. Whereas the Rally, you can do it. You really, truly can. But it's going to be something you need to keep in mind, especially if you're going to have storage added, like the luggage added on the back. That's going to increase your weight capacity. So just really something to think about. Another thing to note is that the Can-Am Spyder RTs have a 400-pound towing capacity. So I have seen people with matching little trailers that they pull behind, and they go touring all over the country, and they go moto camping and do all this really cool stuff. So if that is more what you're looking for, a Spyder's probably going to be more your jam. Another common question asks about the fuel tank size and the miles per gallon on the Ryker versus the Spyder. Now, the Ryker comes with a tank that's a little over 5 gallons, and the Spyder comes with a tank that's a little over 7 gallons. So again, certainly more fuel capacity with the Spyder. Now, your miles per gallon truly depends on how you are going to ride your vehicle. From different forums that I looked on, the Rally gets usually around 30 to 35 miles per gallon, and the Spyder RT, from what I researched, seems to be pretty consistently getting about 35 or more miles per gallon. Again, there's a lot of factors that go into that, what kind of riding you're doing, if you're carrying a passenger, if you're carrying a lot of gear or anything with you. All of those things really do make a difference. Now, with my experience with my Rally, I tend to get about 170 miles on a full tank of gas. There is a feature on the control panel where when you fill up, it's gonna say you have this many miles till empty. I just think it always defaults at saying you have about 120 miles till empty. That has never been the case for me. I don't rely on that to determine how many more miles I have to go. I just always get in the habit. Every time I fill up, I reset my trip meter, and I sort of know about how many more miles I have to go until empty. And honestly, I find that around that 150 mile time frame is really when I'm wanting to stop and stretch my legs. You know, just stopping to get some gas is not a bad thing at that point anyway. Another question talks about the transmissions between the Ryker and the Spyder. Now, I talked before about the Spyder having a semi-automatic transmission. So as you're driving along, you have a paddle shifter on your left handlebar where you are shifting up through your gears, and then it automatically downshifts as you're braking. So when you come to a full stop, you're back at first gear and you go from there. But you do have to do the shifting up through the gears. I said in my last video that the Ryker has an automatic transmission. Somebody did correct me in the comments saying, well, it's a CVT transmission and not exactly an automatic transmission, and that is correct. So a CVT transmission, now I had to do my research on this. CVT stands for continuously variable transmission. It is a type of automatic transmission, but it is not a true automatic transmission. So that was a correct comment. I just wanted to make the note about that. So kind of from my limited research on this, kind of the basic differences between a CVT and a standard like automatic transmission is that a CVT does not have a set number of gears, but instead uses a system of pulleys and belts that kind of creates an infinite number of gear ratios, just kind of based on what the needs of the vehicle are at that point. But you still don't need any input from the driver. As a driver of a Ryker, you are not having to shift anything. You're just doing that throttle and going. So it is kind of referred to as an automatic transmission, but it is a CVT for what that's worth. Some people are, for whatever reason, very set against CVTs. I have not had any problems with mine, knock on wood. I've not had any issues, so I'm very happy so far with my Ryker. And one of the final questions that I get on a pretty regular basis is, do you need a motorcycle license to drive a Ryker or a Spyder? The short answer is yes. The long answer is check with your local state regulations to determine what type of license you need. So basically there's a 2-wheel motorcycle endorsement and a 3-wheel motorcycle endorsement. Most places, I believe, are okay with you having a 3-wheel motorcycle license. It will cover any 3-wheel motorcycle. A 2-wheel motorcycle license will cover any motorcycle. That's how it is here in my state. I actually took both courses. I took both of the MSF courses. I took the 2-wheel first. That's how I got my initial motorcycle license. And I took the 3-wheel course about a month or so after that. Again, any education, any extra practice and exposure to anything, any tips and tricks out on the road is always helpful. But I definitely do recommend taking one of the MSF courses to get yourself acclimated and be able to practice being on one of these vehicles in a more controlled environment. All right, you guys, so that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions or if there's something I did not answer, please leave that down in the description box below. And again, if you have not subscribed yet, please do so and make sure your notification bell is on so you never miss a future upload. And until next time, you guys ride safe, be kind, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.